After my personal struggle with food left me sick and suicidal, I was struck with the realization that food alone can't fix us. So I set out to discover what could, and what I found changed everything. After coaching thousands of clients and interviewing the world's leading experts, I realized it was time to start a bigger conversation. What are you really hungry for?
It's great.
Ooh, good one.
What am I really hungry for?
I love that question.
It's time to discover what you're really hungry for. This episode is brought to you by the Institute of Transformational Nutrition. ITN offers the first and only personalized nutrition certification program that's backed by science and proven to get clients actual results and coaches actual income. If you're ready to be proud of what you do, feel like you matter, make a difference in someone's life, and actually get paid for it, then visit transformationalnutrition.com to take your first class toward your certification for free. The mind is an incredibly powerful tool. In fact, our mind creates our beliefs, our feelings, experiences, results, and ultimately our entire world. The law of attraction says what you think about, talk about, believe strongly about, and feel intensely about, you will bring about. Because what we expect to see in the world is always exactly what happens. Psychologists call this the expectancy effect. For example, when we expect to see people who are mean and critical, we're going to find them. We'll notice someone stealing a cab from an elderly woman on the busy New York City streets, or we'll hear women gossiping about a coworker on our lunch break. But when we go out and we expect to find generous and good and kind people, we discover that those are the kinds of people that we see. We have such a primal and often unconscious need to be right that our minds can't help but to seek evidence of what we believe. The same thing goes for our health. When we expect to be healthy, our body tends to cooperate. But we all know someone who always expects to be sick, and somehow they're always coming down with another cold or an infection. This is because when we expect to be sick, our emotions and our body follow suit and create that reality. I never fully realized just how powerful our mind and emotions were in a physical healing until I talked with a friend of mine that was diagnosed with cancer many years ago. Now, at first, she was terrified when she was diagnosed, like most of us would be. Her doctors wanted to fill her body with all kinds of toxic chemicals to treat her condition. But my friend knew in her heart that there had to be a better way. So she decided to put off that treatment for a few months while she focused all of her energy on creating a positive mindset. She removed all negative influences from her life. She stopped watching the news that was filled with stories about accidents and war and tragedy. She avoided dramatic and sad movies that would make her cry. She tuned out conversations and media that could expose her to critical or negative thinking. She even stopped listening to sad music. She discovered the amazing powers of the mind. Even doctors and researchers are aware of the powerful influence that the mind has on the body, and they call it the placebo effect. It's when a person is told that a medication will cure them, but they're actually given a sugar pill without any medication in it at all. Oftentimes, the person will come back and show improvement simply because they believe that they were taking something that would help them ultimately heal. When we believe that we're getting better and we feel the energy of getting better throughout our entire being, our body will follow those directions and become healthy. My guest today, Brandy Gillmore, is an energy healer, life coach, and holistic practitioner. She shares the power of self-healing following her own devastating injury that left her disabled and in extreme, constant pain. Today, she's going to share that information with you. So Brandy, thank you so much for being here. You're fascinating. I think you're magic. I'm completely in love with you, just so that's clear.
Thank you. I gotta say, I'm in love with you. I think you're magic.
Tell me about your story. I mean, because what you do is just, it's wild, to use like a very technical term, right? But I want to know like how you got started. How did you find yourself at this place where you can help people heal chronic chronic pain, like with their mind, with their thoughts?
You know, to be honest, I never pictured myself being in health. And I found myself in the middle of my own injury, and I was in extreme pain, and the doctors gave me a whole long list of diagnoses, like CRPS, which is complex regional pain syndrome, nerve lesions, spinal fractures, spondylosis, and like 3 or 4 other painful diagnoses. And so I'm just, I'm in extreme pain, and they say that like the CRPS is the worst, like the most chronic, painful condition that a human being can experience. And so I'm just propped up on pillows, on heavy amounts of medication for like years. Years. And I'm seeing like teams of doctors, every specialist I can find, all these medical procedures, and everything, in and out of hospitals, and every single one is saying like, there's nothing else we can do for you. And I'm like, this can't be my life,
Wow.
Like you never like think, okay, my future's gone, you know what I mean? And so I started looking out as far as like diet, supplements, anything that I could think of, and they started helping, but it wasn't like the whole picture, And amazing, like what you can do when you start changing your diet and everything, but I was still in this excruciating pain.
And you're still in bed.
Still in bed.
Can you walk? Can you get out of bed?
I mostly got around with a wheelchair.
Okay.
Very short distances. I would use like a walker to get around, but it was a struggle and very short distances. So
Wow.
it was somewhere I would never thought that I would be. So I'm still going and seeing the teams of doctors, and I'm still trying all the supplements, and I'm even buying the supplements online that are hyped up. The
Right.
ones that say like you can lose 60 pounds in 2 days.
Yes, Judy, those are my favorite.
What happened was my doctors ended up getting me into this trial study. And I was so excited. I mean, was like everything that I hoped would happen, was that somebody would find something new and that I would get my whole life back, right?
Yeah.
And so I show up at this study, and beforehand I'm just thinking, okay, please don't get the placebo. Please don't get the placebo, with the real thing. So then I show up, and the doctor, he looks at me and he says, we don't actually expect you to get better. You're not a great candidate for the study. And I was like, shattered.
You just gave me chills.
I don't even remember leaving the hospital that day or the next few days, but the next thing I remember is going, I need to figure out how the placebo works. I need to, like, it was the only hope, the only thing I had felt like I hadn't tried yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I was looking into the mind, and that led on this whole beautiful journey of just realizing how incredible we really are.
Yeah. So you thought, okay, you can't fix me. Other people can't fix me. The doctor has said, I don't think this is going to work for you. Sorry. And that just shifted everything for you. And you took it upon yourself, it sounds like, to think outside the box, right?
I have to tell you, at first I did start off with like the secret type stuff. I tried convincing myself that I was already healed, which I don't agree with anymore, but I tried that for years.
Yeah.
And I also, because we hear visualization,
Yes.
visualize. Yes. And so I was like trying this for the longest time, and it didn't work. So then I thought, okay, my visualizer is just broken. Like I'm not seeing clear enough.
You're like, it's not me, it's my visualizer.
My visualizer, like I just must not be seeing clear enough. And so then I was like laying there in bed with all these pillows propped up, and I would like have this anatomy book. And so I would close my eyes, or I would like look at it and try to get a picture of the nervous system and the spine, like what everything looked like perfectly. So it was like burned in my brain. And then I would close my eyes and hope the vision was still there. When you try to just keep the vision. And it still wasn't it. And what most people are missing is that the vision needs to have emotion to it. Or even when it comes to healing, we know that emotions affect the body. I mean, if somebody's embarrassed, their face turns red.
Yeah.
You can have like a nervous, upset stomach.
Yes.
Sexual thought, sexual response.
Yes.
And so knowing that our emotions really actually matter. So I think a lot of people who are doing the visualization, they're not getting the emotion of it. And if somebody's walking around. So it's not just putting things in though, because if somebody's walking around and they're feeling embarrassed, and they're really feeling it, and so they have a red face, but they try to distract themselves, but they're still feeling that feeling, then it's not necessarily going to go away. So it's the combination of both releasing the negative and also putting in the good.
Yeah. And is that the turning point that fixed everything for you? I mean, fixed everything.
I mean, there were so many turning points. It felt like every time that I got stuck, that something new unfolded. It was just like I got stuck, but I kept going. And as long as I kept going, there was something else to be discovered, revealed. And so it just, it's so many turning points. Just like, honestly, if it continuing to go and continuing to just say, I will not be like this, and just giving it everything I have.
Yes.
And really authentically lifting myself. I mean, I think most people, they start visualizing and they start doing these things. But if you look at who they are 6 months earlier and you look at who they are now, they just got a longer to-do list of meditation and visualizing. You don't look at the person and you go,
that's true.
Wow, they seem so much happier.
Yeah.
And wow, they just are really that positive. And they really feel this love for life and this connection with people.
Is it because we hear meditate, we hear use mantras, we hear use guided meditations, and we do it, but we're not feeling it?
Exactly.
And that's why nothing changes.
What's fun is that when people get used to, okay, let me get a vision, let me put my energy towards it, let me get my emotion in it, let me release all the old blocks.
Yeah.
Walking turns into running, and they end up running towards their dreams. It's beautiful.
I love that. I love that. So you have something called the Gillmore Empowerment Technique. What is that? First of all, I love that it's an empowerment technique. Like, I already like it, and I have no idea what it is, but I am down to do it. But what is it? Explain that to us.
It's a step-by-step process that walks people through changing their emotion, making transformation, identifying what emotions are in the subconscious mind that are affecting them.
Okay.
And also what I found is that there are key components in the subconscious mind that do affect health.
Okay.
The part that we're like talking and communicating and interacting with and making like in the moment decisions with, so to speak, has to do with our conscious mind. Our subconscious mind is all of our habits, our feelings, our beliefs about things. The reason you can think back to what you were doing 10 years ago and remember how you felt, that's because it's stored in the subconscious mind.
I see.
Okay, or if you like listen to a song, and all of a sudden you go, oh my God, I remember I was falling in love to this song, And so all of that is stored in the subconscious mind. And they say that 90 to 95% of our lives are actually controlled by our subconscious mind.
Wow.
So it's like the goal is to make a conscious decision and get it into the subconscious. Kind of like this. Have you ever heard before that it takes 28 days to make a habit? They give a different variety of days.
Yes.
Have you heard that?
Yes, there's like 27 versions of how many days it takes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's basically creating a new habit. So it's like our conscious mind has to make an effort to follow through each day, but eventually it just becomes habit. But when it comes to health, like we don't have to consciously think about breathing or making a heartbeat.
Right.
The subconscious mind is handling all of that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there's a lot of emotions that are in the subconscious mind that are also affecting us. And people, that's one thing, is to really, kind of reflect and look at what we're really feeling. Most people are so out of touch with what they're actually feeling. I think that there are ways for each of us to, it's kind of what we enjoy. So some people who are just starting, I will tell them to get a song that they love and to stick with the same one each day.
Yes.
and to just listen to it and purposely feel as amazing as you possibly can while you're doing it. Because things that are emotionally powerful,
Yes.
it's like, how many people forget their wedding day? Because there's so much emotion and love. You don't forget that.
Right. Or the birth of your child.
Or the birth of your child.
Yeah. So again, going back to your story, like in you sitting here today, being this vibrant, amazing woman who, you know, is like active and clearly not propped up on pillows, is you started to feel those emotions. You started to feel the way you wanted to be, right? Is that what I'm hearing? That you really focused on the feeling of what it would be to not be in the bed with the pillows? Was that the first?
No.
No.
I mean, yes, I tried that.
Yeah.
And it didn't work.
Okay.
I had emotions that were causing a lot of problems. So it's kind of like if somebody's embarrassed, their face will turn red.
Yeah.
And so it was really about identifying in my subconscious mind what emotion it was that it was affecting me.
Okay.
And I didn't even realize the emotion was affecting me because I spent so long avoiding it.
Yeah. But we do.
Absolutely.
We do that. Yeah.
Absolutely. And we hear things in our society, leave your emotions at the door when you show up at work,
Yeah, totally.
And so, but it's really about authentic change, but that's the gift in it. So I identified what it was that was really bothering me and faced it. It's like, how do you turn the dark into light? You have to look at it. You have to shed the light on it. A simple way to put it. Let's say you hurt my feelings, which you could never do, but you hurt my feelings.
Sorry.
And I'm so mad at you.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm holding on to this anger, okay? Because I feel like the anger is protecting me from you. Now, ultimately, all I want to do is love and connect with you and have fun and all of that.
Sure.
But I'm not thinking about that. I'm thinking this anger is protecting me.
Yeah.
And you know how, like, if people, they get into an argument with somebody and they hold on to this anger because they feel like either the person needs to make up to them.
Right.
Or they feel like they're going to get something from it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so every emotion that people are holding on to, they want to. That is the only, it's like we're the same ones wanting to get rid of the emotion, and we're the same ones wanting to hold on to it.
For a reason, though, it's serving a purpose, or at least we think it is.
It's serving a purpose.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like if you tried to hold on to something with your right hand and tried to push it away with your left hand, how far would you really get?
Right.
And that's what most people are doing with emotions.
Right.
They don't want to authentically let it go on a deeper level. They think there's something that they're getting from it.
I love this.
Me too.
You're amazing. So if there was one thing, Brandy, that you could tell the audience for, maybe they have chronic pain, maybe they're going through something and they just want to heal. They just want to come through on the other side. What would be the most important thing that you could tell them? The number one most important piece of advice that you could tell that person or those people?
Number one would be realizing that the mind does affect the body. And just really, and the emotions, rather, would be a better way to say it.
Yeah.
Just like, people will have the same illness, and they have good days and bad days.
Yes.
Why is that? If they have the same injury,
Yeah.
how is it possible to have good days and bad days? So what they could do would be when you start to notice what emotion it is. So typically what I would have somebody do is really figure out what emotion is contributing that, while simultaneously putting in a lot of the positive.
Yes.
And get rid of that emotion. And I've even shown this under medical equipment, where I've had people who are in chronic pain, and all we do is shift that emotion, and it goes away. You can see the pain on the scan, like the scan will start out red, and I just work with this person and talk to them about letting the emotion go, and you'll see the whole scan turn green. And it's incredible, like minutes, like 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 8 minutes.
That's amazing. Wow. Brandy, you're incredible. You're absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for all this wisdom and just for sharing your story. The name of the show is What You're Really Hungry For. So Brandy, tell me, What are you really hungry for?
What am I really hungry for? To see this change, to see people really feel empowered and to get out of illness, and whether that's emotional or physical or they're experiencing in their life. And I think this is the reason why. Is first off, I don't want to see anybody hurting or upset or anything like that. But when people start to become empowered and they really use it, fear goes away. And so they live in less fear and everybody connects more. And I just think that what would the world look like if everybody had to start being happier and had to start being more loving, and they really authentically felt it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Could you imagine if you looked at the world and you were like, everybody's really happy and there's no fear and everybody's feeling empowered and they're using their minds to help visualize and feel the emotion, and it's just incredible what it would look like. It's exciting.
Yes, it's very exciting. It's a different world. This is changing the world.
It is.
Wow.
It is, but if you think about it, technology in a short period of time has changed the entire world.
True.
I mean, it's like we're going through revolution of the mind. There's like the agricultural revolution, and then there's, the technological revolution. Like we're in like the revolution of the power of the mind and our body and nutrition and empowering ourselves.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for the light that you are in this world, for the information that you're sharing, for the work that you're doing. It truly is transformative. So, Brandy, just thank you for being you.
Thank you. And thank you so much for being you. I've had the best time.
Me too. This week is all about releasing chronic pain through the power of the mind. We discussed how you can use the power of positivity to transform your life and your health. So I invite you to choose one of the tips that Brandy discussed during our show and start implementing it in your life today. What one step can you take to start using positive thoughts to shift your health and your life? As always, the conversation continues at cynthiapasquella.com. So head on over and leave a comment below this video telling me the one thing that you will do to start using the power of the mind today. Did you like this video? If so, please subscribe and then share it with your friends. And if you want to hear more from me, including things that I only share in email, then head on over to cynthiapasquella.com and sign up for my email newsletter so you can become a part of this beautiful community of women who are discovering what they're really hungry for. On next week's episode of What You're Really Hungry For.
What happens is that our subconscious mind starts to believe this picture that I keep playing in my mind, or this movie I'm playing in my mind. So what happens is that the subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between what we see through our eyes and what we see repetitively in our mind.
I love that. So it's the same reality, regardless of whether it's happening here or just in here.
Yeah.
The Institute of Transformational Nutrition offers the first and only personalized nutrition certification program that's backed by science and proven to get clients actual results and coaches actual income. If you're ready to be proud of what you do, feel like you matter, make a difference in someone's life, and actually get paid for it, then visit transformationalnutrition.com to take your first class toward your certification for free.